Sony have just announced that they're ending all physical game discs in January 2028. No more PS5 discs, no PS6 discs, no physical PlayStation games at all. This is one of the biggest shifts in gaming we've seen in decades, and it's going to affect collectors, secondhand stores, publishers, and honestly, the entire culture of physical gaming. Today, I want to break down exactly what this means, why Sony is doing it, and what the future of physical games looks like. So what exactly have Sony confirmed? Well, they've said after January 2028 they will no longer manufacture physical game discs for PlayStation platforms. So this includes PS5 and PS5 Pro and whatever the PS6 ends up being. So from that point forward, PlayStation becomes a digital-only ecosystem for new releases. You'll still be able to play your existing discs, and you'll still be able to buy older physical games second-hand, but no new PlayStation games will ever be printed on disc again. This is the end of the physical era for PlayStation. So now on to why Sony is doing this. There are a few reasons that they're making this move. Number 1, manufacturing costs. Pressing discs, printing covers and shipping physical stock, it is expensive. Digital is cheaper and more predictable. 2. Control. Digital storefronts give Sony complete control over pricing, availability and revenue. There's no second-hand market cutting into sales. 3. Convenience. Sony's been pushing digital for years, digital PS5 consoles, digital bundles, digital upgrades. This is just the final step in their plan. And lastly, number 4. Market trends. More players are buying digital rather than physical now, especially on PlayStation. But just because this trend exists doesn't mean the decision is good for everyone. And this is where things get worrying, because we've already seen what happens when companies rely too heavily on digital licensing. Sony recently removed entire libraries of purchased digital movies from users' accounts. People paid for those films, they owned them, or at least they thought they did. And then one day, because of licensing changes, Sony just deleted them. Gone. No refund, no alternative, no physical backup. And this isn't just Sony's problem. I made a video recently about how Xbox's backwards compatibility is tied directly to digital licenses. If those licenses ever disappear, so do the games, even if you own the disc. So across the industry, we're seeing a trend. Physical media is being pushed out, and digital ownership isn't nearly as secure as people think it is. This is the danger of a digital-only gaming future. This is a massive blow for collectors. Physical games aren't just products, they're artifacts. They're pieces of gaming history, they're tangible, displayable, preservable. Digital games just aren't. Once Sony stop producing discs, physical PS5 games will become rarer. PS4 and PS5 discs will start rising in value, and retro PlayStation become even more desirable. Collectors lose a major part of the hobby moving forwards. And the biggest issue of all? Preservation. Digital storefronts close, licenses expire, games get delisted and servers shut down. Physical games survive all of that. Sony's removal of the movies and Xbox's digital backwards compatibility dependency prove that digital ownership is fragile. And now Sony wants the entire PlayStation ecosystem to rely on it. This decision hits second-hand stores hard. Once Sony stops producing discs, the second-hand ecosystem changes overnight. Firstly, no new stock enters the market. The PS5 discs that exist up to January 2028 is all we'll ever have. There will be no replenishments, no new trade-ins, and no new sealed copies. Secondly, prices for second-hand games will rise over time. Not instantly, but gradually. As supplies dry up, demand stays strong. Thirdly, retro PlayStation becomes more valuable. PS1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 all become collector's items. Second-hand stores become preservation hubs. The fourth impact on second-hand stores will be that PlayStation shelves shrink. Retailers will shift towards physical Xbox and Nintendo games, retro stock, accessories, digital credit, and code-in-box products. And lastly, second-hand stores will become culturally important. With mainstream retail dropping physical media, second-hand stores become the last place where physical gaming actually survives. Browsing shelves and finding hidden gems, trading games, and talking to the staff. That whole experience becomes rarer and much more valuable. So the next logical question is, will Xbox follow Sony and kill physical discs? Right now, the answer looks like no. Xbox has strong incentives to keep physical media alive. The Series X is still a disc-based flagship console. Backwards compatibility is a core part of their identity. Collectors prefer Xbox physical editions. Microsoft needs differentiation from PlayStation, and Game Pass doesn't replace physical game sales. Now, there are rumours at the moment that Microsoft are considering having no disk drive for Project Helix, the next Xbox, but nothing has been confirmed. If Sony does actually go digital only, Xbox actually gains a strategic advantage by staying physical friendly. So what does the future look like? Well, firstly, PlayStation becomes digital only. Collectors will shift away from PlayStation for new releases. Xbox becomes the main physical platform. Collector's editions, steelbooks, premium boxes, all of that continues. Nintendo stays physical. Nintendo loves cartridges. They're not going to be changing anytime soon. Retro will become even more important than ever. Physical PlayStation history will become a treasure trove. And then lastly, secondhand stores become preservation hubs, as mentioned before. They'll be the last place to experience physical gaming in a meaningful way. So physical gaming isn't dying, but it is changing, and Sony's decision accelerates that change dramatically. Sony ending physical discs in 2028 is a massive shift. It affects collectors, retailers, publishers, and the entire culture of gaming. And when you combine this with the fact that Sony's deleting purchased digital movies, and Xbox tying backwards compatibility to digital licenses, it paints a very clear picture of where the industry is heading. I would hope Xbox and Nintendo will keep physical gaming media alive. At the very least, we'll have retro and secondhand stores that will keep physical alive. And as long as players care about owning games, and when I say that I mean truly owning them, physical media will always have a place. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Is this the end of the era, or is this the beginning of a new one?